we are having our React course. Okay, React course, and I thought of it like making it live. Okay, so for that we have planned major three projects. First will be around availability of React for you to learn React. So for that will be building IMDb clone. Okay, and the second project will be your uh, Reels clone, and the third project will be of your resume builder. So these are some of the projects that we are going to build in this course, and each one will start from the scratch. And this is the first class for this React course. Okay, so the first project that we will be building is IMDb clone. Okay, it's IMDb clone. Okay, so first is IMDb clone, and for IMDb clone, what we need to start with is we need to start with basics of React. Okay, so I will be starting how the name of the lecture you can say is prod React. Okay, so I want to explain how you all are going to work in React environment when you are going into your industries. Okay, so for that we will be using create React for app for it. Okay, so in this whole lecture, I will be explaining few things. First, how to start with React in Create React app. So first of all, first thing would be yes, uh, you would have you. I think you should have basic knowledge of JavaScript to do it. Okay, at least basic would work. Okay, and in the last lecture, I already explained you how you can do that also. Okay, there are certain number of concepts that you need to go through for using React. Okay, so the point is, if I am talking about prod React, we will be using Create React app for it. Firstly, we will be learning basics of React. Okay, so creating component and all those things. Then we will be testing our application, and then we will be building and deploying it. So in today's lecture, I will be explaining how you do all these things in industry. Okay, so for that I will be using Create React app. Okay, there would be certain things that I will be including in these things. So I will be starting from the scratch, and then firstly we will be learning React, a bit of React, not whole of it, and then we are going to test whatever we have built in React, and then we are going to build that application and deploy that application. Okay, and I will be explaining all the things from the scratch, what all these things mean. Okay, so for the starters, for learning React, okay, the first step would be to use Create React app. Okay, so think of it, Create React app is a basically a framework or a set of basically a structure to build production level application. Okay, because it provides a lot of features. Okay, so for the starters, let me just install a simple Create React app. Okay, let me just explain these how you can do this, and then I will be coming back to Create React app, and I will be telling what are the different features that you will be getting that will help you while you are working with React. Okay, so the point is, let's just go to our VS code, and I will be using npx. So let me just do one thing more, that some of the prerequisite that you need is, of course, installation. I mean, that is VS code. We will be VS code, everyone should. Second is, you need to have Node.js installed, and third, do also install Git. Okay, so that will help in version control. That is not important, but these two things are very important. Okay, these two things are essential. Okay, so if I move here, then to create a React app, simply npx create dash react dash app. Okay, and write the name of a project or application, whatever you want to say. So I'm just saying my first React app. Okay, so it will go to npm and create a first React app, basically a bunch of folders for us, so that we can efficiently work in React. Okay, so let's see what it does. So before that, meanwhile it is being installed, what we can do, we can look over few things. It needs to install all those things. So as of now, it is just giving the name of the uh, project, else we need to wait for it. Okay, so meanwhile I can just tell it on one note. So create React app provides certain features, like first, it provides you structure. Okay, yes, it is getting installed. Okay, so the command will be npx create React app. Okay, so it provides you structure to work with React. Okay, other main feature that you can see is it also provides hot reload. Okay, that means that whenever you do some change in your code base, your UI will be uh, reloaded as soon as that is done. Okay, third is it supports testing is inbuilt. Testing for your React is inbuilt into it. Okay, fourth is you can also build your application that converts basically your JSX to JavaScript, or your React code into normal HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, because only these things could be deployed. Okay, or build means on a higher level, what I can say is build means that it converts your dev code. So you can think of dev code is a thing, is the form of the code that is easily understood by your developer, but there are certain optimization that are required when you deploy your website, or it is used by the end user, because end user has limited resources. He may be using it on a 3G network on an Android phone. Okay, so it converts that thing into production code. So production code is the code that is pushed to your user. So the end code that they are using. Okay. So as of now, our create React app is installed. Okay. Our first folder is created, that is first React app. Okay. So first of all, let's just see few things. So whenever you do npx create React app, basically it push out a bunch of folders and files. Okay, and inside these folders and files, you have to work your path away. Okay, so the point is, first thing is we have to see package.json. Okay, so there are few things that you will be getting using create React app. First is you will be getting React. Okay, React is the algorithm that is used to efficiently optimize your UI. Second, you will be getting React DOM. React DOM is whatever the React tells, React DOM actually changes the UI. There are few other things, but you have to see these three things. It is for your testing, and there are few scripts written over here. First is start. Start script is used to start your application. Okay, so whenever you write some code, you need to see in the result. So that is where start is used. Second, you have build. I have already told you. Build is used to convert your dev code into production code. That is visible to your end user. Third is test, and fourth eject we can ignore. Okay, so there are multiple features that are given by create React app, so that you can work on production. Okay, okay, so shall we get started? Huh? Shall we get started? Are we all on the same page for this? Hmm? What are the features that Create React app gives? Okay. And now we can start working with basic React. So now I will be introducing what is the use case of React. Second, let's just move it close poll. Hmm. Second, what is the use case of React? Second, building something out of that. And third, what are basics of that? And third, testing that thing, and then converting that to the production code. And after that, you can of course deploy on your own. Okay. So deployment is not the feature that is given by React app, that you have to figure it out on your own. Okay. I will be explaining. Okay. What is the use case of React and what is the React DOM? Okay. So uh, coming over here, let's just talk about React. Okay. So React is basically basically a UI manipulation library. Okay, so it is majorly used when you have to change your UI. So whenever there is a web application or a web page or anything that is visible to end user that needs to be changed efficiently, that is where React comes into play. So the major examples are your all e-commerce website, your all social media website. These websites needs a lot of changes because somewhere your followers are increasing, somewhere you are liking, commenting, putting something, you are getting feeds and all those things. A video is playing, so there is a lot going on that web page. And if we talk about e-commerce website like Amazon, Flipkart, Walmart also, so there are a lot of UI components over there. So whenever you have some UI to change, React is used. Okay. And React can be used at multiple places. So React can manipulate any kind of UI. It can manipulate your web. That is majorly where React is used. Mobile, where it is used with some other things, where it is known as React Native. And it can work anywhere also, other places also, like desktop applications or AR/VR applications also. Okay, so it is majorly used for UI manipulation. And secondly, if I talk about React DOM, so React is a library, but it can't be used alone. It needs someone to do its task. So React DOM is a library that is used with React to actually actually manipulate your web UI. So whenever you have a web page and you have a React, then you will be needing React DOM to actually change these things. So React being React DOM done, next is components. Next is, when we are talking about React, there is a term known as component. Okay, so component is, you have heard in lot many places. What is the component? Component on a higher level, it is an abstraction. Okay, first of all, it is an abstraction where you visualize your UI into different components. Okay, different parts, and that is known as a component. Okay, let's go to our Create React app and use that to build something. Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my application. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, so as of now, I just explained these three things, and apart from that, I just told you the steps that are needed. I think it will be here, like creating something, then testing something, then building something, then deploying. These are the four steps that you need to take. Okay, so when you use Create React app, there is a basic structure that you get. Let's just see that. And for testing that, for you using that, you just need to do I'm using npm as of now. Npm start. Okay, what does npm start do? Let me just go inside that. Okay, let's clear it out, and let me just go to cd first react app. So now I'm inside first react app. Okay, now I can use it. So for that, I will just be doing npm start. So let's see what happens with it. Hmm. So I'm over here. I have just installed create react app, and the next thing that I have done is I have just run a command npm start. Okay, so what happens with npm start? The basic template that is given by create react app is loaded into your browser, and that is displayed on your screen. Okay, that is what happens when you type in npm start. Okay, I think this part is understood. Okay, so let me just come here, and let's just talk about few things. I want to go here. I want to remove these things. So first is your start. So start is used to start your React app. Okay, let's just go over here, and let's just talk a bit about components also. So when you are working with React, just majorly need to worry about this src folder. This src folder. Okay, and inside this there are multiple files app.test that I will be explaining in a bit when we will be covering testing. uh, index.js is a part where your application start working. Okay, so let's see the code base what's happening over here. So the first thing is there are few things that we need to ignore. Okay, so first of all, report vitals. This is for analytics purpose, so you can remove it. Okay, and apart from that, there are few things over here. So your application starts your application start from your src folder, and it will start from index.js. Okay, and it requires two things. First is react, of course, for manipulating your ui, that we will be seeing how it does. Next is react dom. Okay, so react tells what to change, and react dom will change those things. Okay, this import is just to import basic css, that is with this component, with this thing that you are seeing. And beyond that, we are just an app component with us. This is that app component. We just need to ignore this part. Just anything that you can think of as of now. If I want to do something like this, I can just remove it, and I can just say hi, uh, h1 react tutorial. Okay, so what is happening over here is that react dom chooses uh, an element that's name is root, and inside that it renders. You can also remove this strict mode also. This is not used. Okay, huh. For the starters, your code can look like this, where react dom create a root using this thing. We can just see it where you can find it. For that, you have to go to your public folder, and inside it you have an index.html file, and inside this you just need to ignore everything. This is your div. So what happens when a create app starts? It just go to your index.js file inside src folder. Okay, and the next thing that it does is it takes it is basically rendering this html file, and inside this you have a id with div with id root. It takes that div and then puts your component that you want to render inside it. So rendering is basically putting that component inside your it could be a page or a inside a mm, DOM node. Okay, so for this, what we are doing, we are just putting it inside a div. Okay, so root.render is nothing but it is given by your React DOM and it renders or puts this app thing into root. If you go over here, these are first component that you can see. So component starts from a function keyword. Okay, function keyword, and it is always of uppercase. Okay, so if I just go through this piece of code, if you want to know how the whole code is executing, then you can just view few files that will help you understand everything. mm, this.js, and here I want to have an app.js file. Okay. So what is happening over here is that you have a index.js file that is inside. There are two major files that you need to see, two sorry folders that you need to see. First is src folder and second is public folder. Okay, so inside your src folder you have index.js. Okay, so what it does, it takes react dom.create root and takes this root this div with id root and puts app into it. Okay, so basically this app is a component that returns an html. So on a higher level, what is happening it that inside this div with id root we have put this h1 with react tutorial. Okay, that is what is happening. Okay, understood everyone? So if I come here and if I debug this whole thing, if I come in inside body, so inside div root you will be getting h1 react tutorial. Okay, that is what is happening. So the point is that when you do npm start, at that time your create react app will go to your index.js file and it will select that root element, that id from that div, and inside that id, that div, it will be putting this component. Okay, so that is the command x. You can just remove that. Okay, so that is the whole thing. Okay, so let's just start with basics of react as of now. Okay, so structure was very simple. So your code will always start for index.js. Now majorly you have to focus on app.js. Okay, so for this, a component is anything on a definition level is anything that returns an html. Okay, and after component we have another term that is known as props. Okay, props. So what I can do, I can pass something like from my index.js, I can pass something to my app component. Let's see how that can happen. So if I want to pass something, I can just pass message, and I can just pass it like this, lecture 1. Okay, so here what I'm doing, I'm just passing a parameter to this component, and this will be received in an object, and majorly it is by convention, uh, its name is props. Okay, and here you can easily access it using curly braces like this. props dot your the same name. And now what you can see is that here your create react app is automatically changing the UI on the basis of what I have changed. So that is another feature known as auto loading. Okay, so these are the few things that you need to know in React. So the first is your for if you work with create React app whole flow, how the code is rendered on the UI. Second, uh, your component. Third is what is a prop. Okay, and when I talk about components, so component is a piece of a bigger UI. So what you can say is that if I have a web page, if I have a web page, then it could have multiple components. Okay, it could have multiple components. It could have multiple components. Okay, and some component could be manufactured, uh, could have more subcomponents. Okay, so the next thing that you need to understand after components and after props is the third thing, that a component can be formed by multiple components. Okay, so let's see how we can do that. Okay, so for that, let's just as of now remove index.js. I will be focusing on creating more components. Okay, so for that, the convention is we usually create components folder, and inside that I will be creating, you can just create any kind of file. So I can just create a component named greeter. Okay, usually what you need to do is you need to name them with .jsx. With that you can easily use the autocomplete. Okay, and when you are doing these creating these components, you have to sometime use some boilerplate. So for that, but one thing we can do is we can just install a extension named as es7, named as, if I just minimize it, es7 react redux react native snippets. Okay, this is the name of extension that you people can use. Okay, so that is another thing that you must know when you are using React in create React app. So I have already installed it. Okay, with this you can get some shortcuts. Okay, so the first shortcut that I usually use is rfce. So the first shortcut is rfce. So what it does, it just imports React from me. As of now, it is not very important, but this snippet does that, and it just create a basic uh, component for me to work with it. Okay, so what I am doing with these two things, I have this app.js file with me. Okay, I want to use this greeter.jsx file component inside this app.js. Okay, I want to use this thing inside this. Okay, and let's see how we can pass some props also. So with that, it's coming while doing npm start, error is missing. Okay, okay, so uh, for that, quite what you are missing is that when you usually do create react app, then you have to just cd into that folder, cd into first react app. So the thing that you are missing is that you will be outside one level above the required folder. Okay, so you need to cd into that folder that is created by your create react app. Okay, cool. So now what we need to do is we need to use this creator component inside this app. Okay. So for that, what you need to do is you need to import it. Okay. We don't need any of these things. import your inside dot slash components and header. So you will importing header from components slash header. So here what we are doing is I want to use this glitter inside this app.js. Okay. So for that I can simply import it and I can just simply use it. Okay, and with this we are having an error. uh, the point is you can't return multiple html from a component. That is a rule. So for that what you can do is you can just include it into empty, these kind of empty arrow brackets. Okay, so you can just paste it over here and we're done. So what will be happening when your index.html, when your index.html, sorry, index.js will be rendering your application, it will be seeing app. Okay, here is our app, and it will see this html, and it will be seeing this glitter. So glitter is a component that is having a div. Okay, so what we will be returning from here is we will be returning from here this react tutorial and as well as glitter again. Okay, so I think there is some issue, that's why it was not reloading it. So now you have got glitter also. So this h2 will be emphasizing it again. Okay, with this glitter, with this you can see that a component can also contain other components. Okay, and a component is nothing but a function that returns finally an html. And how you are going to read the code from index.js. Okay, or you can just omit this part. You can just start it from app.js, and you will be always be putting all the component that you will be creating in your ui inside components folder. That is a rule. Okay, so starting with it, what we intended to use inside greeter was that I want to pass something from app.js into greeter. I can easily do that. So I just want to read name speed and greeter again with name equals to Ravesh. Okay, so what you can say is these are the props that you pass to the component, and you can just easily accept them in an object, and you can just use a curly brace. So curly brace is used to put any variable. Okay, so think of it like a calculator. We have props dot, but should I write over here? It should be name. Okay, okay. So next is this thing. So how this code is being executed? You have an app component that has few things. It is, of course, it can also receive some props and it can also send some props. Okay, so it has these three lines. So to render this thing, what we need to do is we need to go over here, and when we are going over here, will be passing uh, name with this beat, and I can access it over here, and I can use this component again. So the third thing that we learned is component composition. Component composition. Okay, so or okay, let me just reiterate it again. So the third thing is component composition. Okay, huh. Okay. So the point over here is let's just reiterate it in a minute. So you have to see from here, just start from index.js. So if you need to read your code in react, okay, so start from index.js, then go to your app.js, and then it will take you uh, on and on. Okay, And first, while reading, you have to go over here, and whenever inside a component you see another component, then you have to go there and you have to bring back HTML to here. Okay, so what we can do is we can just uh, read the code from here. So if I'm talking about this, so the first step would be this app. I have to put inside this div this app component. Okay, and I am passing message lecture one to it. Okay, so I need to get HTML back from here because only HTML could be uh, rendered. Okay, so when I go inside app and I just from index.js, I just passed message equals to lecture one. Okay, so now so when this function is executed, then this h1 line will be executed. You will be getting this h1 tag or HTML, and you will be replacing your prop.message with lecture one. Understood? And then these two are components. These two are components. You can't render component. You have to render HTML. So for that, you will be going to your greeter. You will be going to your greeter. Okay, so you have to go to greater two times for this line, okay, and for this line. Understood? So if I go to greeter, then at this point of time, then I will be sending name equal to Jasbir. So that will be printing greater Jasbir. Second, sorry, greater Lavesh. So if you finally evaluate these three things, this line will be giving you people this line. This line will be giving me React tutorial lecture 1. This line will be giving me reader reader with Tasveer, and the third will be Lavesh. Understood? Quite time? Huh? And these three things will be returned to your app, and then this will be put inside your root. So you will be getting three HTML lines inside which thing? Your div with ID root. Understood? Huh? Okay, so I think I'm done with this explanation. So now you have learned three things that uh, React has components, props, and you can have components that could be built by subcomponents. Okay, and another thing that you need to understand is that these components, apart from app.js and index.js, they should be inside components folder. That is a convention. So I'm teaching according to the conventions. So that's why I have to explain things in rather longer way. Okay, so that is one issue that we are facing. But okay, no issue, we have to go one way or another. Okay, so the flow will be always be same: index.js to app.js to the component, and then get actual HTML from there, replace it into app.js, and then send to index.js, and then that will be put inside div. That is the whole flow that will work in every application. How no matter how complex it is. Okay, so let's just talk about UI. Okay, we are talking about UI that is static. You will be saying that, sir, as of now, you have only built UI that is static because I can't interact with this web page, because only those web pages are famous where you can interact with them. Okay, so that is where React comes in. Otherwise, you can use simple HTML for that thing. Okay, so the next thing, let's just have some user interaction also. How we can handle user interactions in React. Okay, with that, I will be introducing events in React, event listeners, and state in React. So let's just learn these two things also. For that, what I am going to do, I will be going inside my components folder, and I will be creating a component name counter. Okay, counter.jsx. Okay, so again I will be using the snippet RFCE. So RFCE tab, and this RFCE works because of that extension. And as of React 18, this import is not required, but you can do it at your choice. Okay, and to use counter, what I need to do is I need to go to app.js. Okay, so every application, every component should be part of some component so that it can your index.js could see it and render it. So import your counter from, and if you press tab, then it also get auto completed. If I want to do counter, I can simply do counter. Let's just see how I can implement a counter. Okay, for a counter to work, there are majorly three pieces of it. So first is a button, and for that I need to just enclose it. Button first I can just plus, and second is minus. Okay, and with between that we can have a p tag with count 0. Okay, and let's have an event listener. So now I'm just teaching how you can add event listener to any component. So on click, on scroll, all those event that are available in browser are also available here. So on click you can attach an event listener. Okay, so with that what you can do is you can add a function. So increment counter, and here you can just increment that counter also, equals to increment. Okay, you can have some function attached to it, as it is a every component is eventually a JavaScript function internally. So you can have function inside of these also. So I can have increment counter. Okay, usually you use arrow function. There is no specific case for it, but you should be using that. So I just need to print a counter, and let's just have a variable over here. Okay, variable. Let's just have a count equals to 0. I can use it over here. Event counter is not defined. Let me define it. Then decrement. So what I was talking that if you have something for interaction, then you have to add event listener, because let's just assume that we have a counter with us, and we have a plus button with it and minus button with it. Okay, and then what I did, that I attach event listeners, and I attach the thing that I need to change when either increment is done or decrement is done. Either increment is done or decrement is done. Let's just simply test it from here, that whether these are working or not. Okay, so increment counter then, and I just want to do count plus plus. Okay, and console.log increment counter. I know it is not a right code, but I'm just doing as of now like this, count minus minus. Okay, let's just open console from here. In fact, if I open console from here, there could be some. Okay, so there is some refresh. There is some issue with refresh also, I think. Yes, all as a gone. So that those were maybe older. Okay, so as of now we have buttons. Okay, and I have created a variable count. So when I want to click on plus, then associating increment counter will be called. Okay, let's see what happens when I click on plus. The increment counter ran, this is logged. Okay, so that means that your uh, function has ran, and I have also incremented this count variable, but UI did not change. Can you think? Can you think why the UI hasn't changed? Because when I was rendering counter component, then what would happen? There is a function. You have a count variable, and there is an HTML. So inside it, I just replace this count. Okay, but when I am, of course, and one more thing, your event listeners are also working. That then you can just do increment or decrement. These are working, but your count is not being changed. Okay, so why it is so? So because you should not be changing UI. Okay, the whole purpose of React is that they know how to efficiently change the UI, so that you don't have to, because you are majorly bad at it. That's why React was introduced, including me also. Okay, so don't get offended about that. Okay, so for that, for changing UI, React has introduced a thing called state. Okay, so if you have a variable, okay, if you have a variable, and with any interaction, either user interaction or any kind of interaction, if that variable needs to be changed, okay, and that change is to be sent to the UI, okay, or any change to be sent to UI, okay, that should be part of state. Okay, so React told us that if you want to have anything on UI, any data on UI that should change, okay, you have to put that into state or a variable that is specifically uh, given by React. So for that, how you can do it? Just need not to create variable like this. You have to create the variable something like this, count, and with this you will be getting a setter function also that can manipulate this uh, variable, and you can name it anything. I'm using set count for it, and it can only be referenced from, of course I have to import it again because I have to use state. So it can only be produced by a function that is given by method that is given by React. Okay, so to have something that, what is happening over here? Here is commander, it is not defined. Okay, come on, use state. Ah, so this is coming out from React. So this means that anything that should go to UI should be given by your React, and to change that thing on UI, you have to have a method so that React can on its own change those things. So what they means to say is that you have to just pass the initial value. Of course, how this function works, that you have to pass initial value, pass initial value, and it will be giving you the variable and setter function. Okay, with that you can do it. Set count, and I can just do count plus one, or set count minus one. Okay, and with the state there is one thing guaranteed, that this function will run again. Avoiding this line, okay, this whole function will run again, or this return will be executed again. Okay, with this you can just reconfirm. I If I console.log over here, okay, so what happens, if I just reload it. Hmm. So initially, when it was printed, then this console.log line was executed, and then this HTML was put over here. And whenever I use either plus or minus, whenever I invoke increment or decrement, my set count will be invoked, so that will change a state variable. So whenever a state variable is changed using that function, then your whole function will be executed again, or return will be executed again with the newer state value. Okay, so to see that, what we can do is we can just click on plus. You can see your increment counter ran, and then I ran was printed again. So that means that when you have to build something that interacts with UI or the user, then you have to first add the event listener. Then you have to specify the data that needs to be changed, and you have to put that into state. Okay, state also, events also, component composition also, props also, and what is a normal component. Okay, so uh, let's learn few more things that you will be using while you are working with React. Okay, let's just build let's just build a simple to do application. Okay, after that we will be doing few things, like we will be doing testing. Of course, testing will be done. After that, we will be building our application. The next thing would be to build something and learn something around lists. Okay, so next would be how you can have a list of data. Okay, how you can work with list. So when it comes to list, let's create another component. Okay, so list.jsx rsce. Basically, it accepts, but I can say it accepts a list equals to prop.list, and it assumes that that list should be that list, or I can just say items. Okay, so those items should be an array, and I have to print something. Okay, how we can do that thing? Okay, so the next thing that you will be usually working when you are working with UI, apart from this user interaction, is working with lists. Okay, so for this, the next task would be very easy. Okay, so these could be your daily tasks, like adding it to your app.js. So whenever it is used, wherever it is used, you have to put it there. Okay, so I'm just using. So for that, I just have to do another thing. I have to just put it in uppercase, because these two are components. Import list from components/list, and I can just start with L uppercase. Okay. So now our list is imported. Okay. Let's see how we can work with list. And for the starters, what I'm doing, I'm just using my own array. Okay, from here only. So for this, I can just do pencil, eraser. I have to print it. Okay, so I can easily do it using these curly braces, because when it comes to JSX, okay, so this HTML that has bit of curly braces, this is known as JSX. Okay, or this whole thing is also known as JSX, because we have JavaScript with HTML. Okay, so inside JSX, when you have to render something inside an HTML, okay, the point is Hmm. In JSX, then you have to render some uh, variable or data. Okay, not when you have to render something dynamic, to be precise, or to render something dynamic. So you only have only one way, these two curly braces. Okay, and they will always interpret this thing. Okay, they will always have to uh, they will always interpret this thing. Like if I can just put anything inside it, like any variable or any value. Okay, so as of now, if I just want to show you some uh, demo, with that I can do this thing easily. H3, and inside this h3, so just do any variables. Okay, I can just put 5. So 5 will be printed. You can just see it on the left. If I put 27 to 24 by 6, it will be printed. Okay, so whatever that comes out of it would be printed. Okay, now you have to print list. You have to print a list. So if you directly put a list, okay, not list, it will be items. So they are concatenated, pen, pencil, eraser. But I wanted a list. Okay, so how does the list work? If you are on our list, it looks like this. Inside a UL, you can have three LIs, and inside those, you will be having pencil, pen, or eraser. Okay, so you want something like this. You want something like, if for better understanding, I can put it like this. You can have some lines also for the separation. Just need to be after this. Ah, it just line break. So I want something like this. Okay, so what I want, for every data point, I want this thing. So what you usually do is, you can't use anything. You have to use a thing known as map. Okay, so you must have used in JavaScript also. So for that, what you can do is, what I'm doing, I have to convert, basically, what in a layman term, what you have to do is convert array of elements, array of data into an array of HTML. Okay, that is what you have to do. For that, you can just easily do it. Items dot map. Okay, and with map, you will be getting each item, and you have to return for every data point. You have to return HTML for it. Li, and inside that you can use that item. That is how you can dynamically render lists. Everyone, the point is, you have only these curly braces to print anything that is dynamic. So when you have to have a list to print, you have to convert this array into something that has an array of HTML. So that will be replaced with these things. But this thing from here, just take it and just get array of HTML. You can just directly put it over here. So that this is the simplest thing that we are doing. And if you want to see what this is producing, just directly see this thing. Mm, let me just create it out. Reload, and these three elements. So these are of course other things, but these are of course type li and all those things. Okay, cool. So next would be over here. You can see each child in a list should have a unique key prop. Point is, when you are printing a list, and React's only purpose is to efficiently manipulate this UI. If you want to delete any of this element or the data changes, then it want to just only remove the data or update the data that is required. So for that, React suggests that when you are printing a list, then you should pass a key prop. And easily what you can do for a key prop, either you will be getting an ID, or either you can use the indexes for it. This also removes our warning. So that one was a warning. So with this, it removes the error. And if I remove it, if I just reload it, then I, as of now, am not having any error. And if I go inside elements, then inside it, we can have this S2 with UL with every li, and it is not visible over here, but it is having a prop key. Okay, I don't know why it is not visible, but it is used by your React. How you need to work with lists. Okay, so JSX can only render anything dynamic using two curly braces. Okay, inside it only you can do it. So for that, you usually use map to render an array. Okay, as it is of course unidimensional, I have mapped it. You can also destructure it, and if it is normally it is in the form of object, then you have to just use the map. So that's why I showed this thing. So for this, what we can do is I can just cut it from here, and ideally you have to use it like this, and you will be getting these items from your parent majorly. So as of now, we have covered basics of Java, React, the components, props, states, events, and listing. Okay. Let's now work with a few more concepts. Okay. As of now, I am done with the basics of React. Okay. In the next lecture, we will be continuing it, and we will be working on few more things, like I will majorly talking about forms in next lecture. Okay, your data fetching, how data fetching is done, and how routing is done. So that will be taught in the next lecture. Okay, so now if you people are willing to study, then I can cover next three concepts that are, of course, I will be covering testing in any way. Okay, testing in any way. uh, but if you want me to do, then we can also learn build and deploy, because as of now you have learned the basics feature, basic feature like hot reload that you know, npm start. Okay, and then your code is divided into multiple folders, and how you are going to work with create react app, the structure or the mm, description that usually we follow. Okay, so the next thing would be convention. Okay, so the next thing would be testing. Let's just jump over to your create react app testing. Okay, or I can just show you something, some of the things that are already present in create react app. With that you can get an idea. So when it comes to testing, okay, when it comes to testing, and I am mainly talking about testing for react. Okay, whenever you are developing something, any part of any UI, then you are supposed to write some test cases. So what are our test cases? So let's just say uh, we have a simple, we can have anything. Okay, so for the case of React, you can say are the four options that I have given. When I click on this drop down, are all four options available, or is the text you are logged out available? When you do login, is your profile available? So these kind of things are need to be tested before they are shipped to the production. Okay, so that is what testing is. Okay, so you test your UI, or the component that you have built before it is pushed to the production. Okay, so if we talk about create React app, if we talk about create React app, create React app has inbuilt testing into it. So there are two things that comes with it. So first is jest. Jest is basically used to run your tests. Run your tests. Okay. Ha. And we have React testing environment. These two things are bundled with your basic create React app. Okay, so test just is used to run these tests, and React testing environment takes the test and runs it inside a virtual DOM. Okay, virtual DOM is, it will not be testing on real UI. It will be testing on virtual DOM. Virtual DOM is something that is similar to what React uses. Okay, so it emulates whatever React would be doing on your browser. So this guy runs, this guy actually do the testing, and this just runs the test, and these two are part of your create React app. And this testing should be done by every developer whenever he is doing it. Okay, so when you are working in industry, you will be testing your applications. Okay, so for that, what we can do is we have to just look into our package.json. So here, when you see this testing library, just DOM, React. So this is what that helps for you to test your application. Okay, so when you open your Create React app, when you install through your Create React app, and when you open your SRC, besides index.js, index.css, app.css, and app.js, you have few more files. This logo.svg that is used for showing the logo. I can remove it. Okay, let me just remove it. It has of no use case. Okay, next is report vitals. It's just for your analytics. You can just remove it. There are few files still left. app.test.js. Okay, so this app.test.js is used as a testing, as a test case for this app.js file. Okay, so what is happening over here? So when you have to run your tests, okay, we have few more scripts. We have a test script. So basically this test script runs all the tests that are available inside our src folder. So usually when you create a component, when you create a component, you create a test file with it, with just a name appending to it. The name of the component would be there, file would be there, and after that you will just add test to it. So what will happen, it will run this app.js file, and whatever should be rendered, that will be visible to you. So let me just execute it. Okay, for that, what I will be doing, I will be creating another terminal, and I have to go inside. Let me just do dir, or its name in MacBook. ls. Yes, yes, I am in the right folder. So For that, you have to do npm run test because it is inbuilt in create react app. So this executes our test case, and as of now this is showing that your renders learn react link, because this is should be that should be rendered, but there is some error in it because what we have done, we have changed whatever it is there. So let's just go over to our app.test.js file and see what is here. Okay, the first thing you can see is a test. Okay, so what is happening over here is that to create a test you have few things. To run all the tests, you just had npm run test to run the tests, and to create a test you have a test function, and this test function takes three arguments. First is first is your the first argument is the name of the test. Second argument is the function that execute that test. So test is something like you compare your output or the UI with your expected output. What you expect and what is you getting should be same. So this function execute that. And third is a simple timeout. Third is a simple timeout. So this timeout is majorly of 5 seconds. Let's see when you are testing something and that does not appear on the screen or in the UI. So you will just do the timeout and it will just say that your test has failed. So as of now, what is happening inside this file is, if you want to see this, there is a test created. Okay, so this test is available because of Create React app, and its name is renders learn React app. So you are doing certain thing, you are rendering this app. Okay, so this coming from React testing library. Okay, it is giving you a function that is render. So what it is doing, it is just rendering its app inside its virtual DOM. Okay, so it has just imagine that it has printed it. Okay, and in that where it has printed, it also give you a object name as screen. So in that screen I want to find get my text learn react. So as of now in this screen you can see that there is no text as learn react. Okay, so if it is it just find it, and if it's not present, if you are getting false. Okay, so if you are getting false, then it will be giving you an error. Okay, you expect that this link to be there, to be in the document. So if it is that, then it will be giving me an error. Okay, so for that either I have to change the test or either I have to change the component. So usually your component will be changed. So as of now I don't intend to have learn react anywhere in this page. So I can just have anything else like react tutorial, react tutorial, tutorial. Okay, let's see if this works or not. And you can now see that this automatically, as you do the start thing, that will show everything that is on the UI that you have coded on the UI, and with npm run test it automatically runs that test. So I just changed learn react with tutorial. So initially it was false because there is nothing on this page that is equivalent to learn react. Okay, and if I change something that is equivalent to it, so if I just do something like greeter, so that's present in my page. So it again runs the code. Greeter, I think it is not having anything like greeter, or just do it lowercase. It's having an issue. Enter learn react link. Just need to watch. Okay. Hmm. So I just need to, I think, react. Yes, there may be some issue with it. Okay, so this should be here. So that is what I did. So as soon as it searches for the element, it is available, then it will be giving me true. Or you can just do anything whatever you expect. If it is equivalent to that, then it will be passing all the tests. And whenever you do work in industry, then they have their all the tests inbuilt, all the tests that are returned by you. Whenever you post anything to deployment or in the production, they will first test all the components, and after that they will deploy it. Okay, so this thing you have to do it always. That comes with your create react app. And this is nothing but nothing but a regular expression. You can just also use this thing also. Here's something like react or smaller case react tutorial. Okay, so that is one thing. So you just need to understand how these things work. So if you want to create test for anything else, you can just for, let's just say I want to create a test for this greeter. Okay, and I expect that it should print my greeter this beer. Okay, so it should always print greater this beer. So let's just do it. So for this, what I have to do is I have to just create greater dot test dot js. It automatically knows that I want to test this component. For this, what I can do is and just get text. It should be equivalent to uh, your greater Lavesh. Okay, and it automatically runs, and it says one failed, one pass. It said one failed, one pass because at one place I'm getting Lavesh, and at one place I'm getting Jispy. So that's how your testing works. So with this thing, what you intend to do is you want to test everything that is on the UI. Okay, and it is inbuilt. Okay, so let's just sum up this build. For building, you can also go to your package.json. We have a build script also here that builds your code and converts your development code into the production code. So for this, what I can do is I can just as of now I can just stop it, just kill it. Okay, I can just open another one. I can just do run build. So it create and automate my production build. So that is you have to always do. Okay, so it creates a build folder that only have JS and HTML and this CSS and JS. So here is the compiled code for everything that you have written. So whenever you have to deploy something, you have to just use this thing. Okay, so these are few things that you will be doing while you are working on production. So first of all, you have to work on create react app. You have to build something. Okay, create component, create your UI. Then you have to test those, and then you have to convert them into your build, and then you have to deploy that part. Blue eyes, what was the run test command? Okay, npm. Apart from start, everything is npm run. Okay, everything is npm run. Okay, so next, from the next class I will not be emphasizing more on create react app. Okay, I will majorly talking about the features of react, and after that lecture we will be starting our project that will be mdb clone. Okay, so to work with your testing and building commands, these are npm run test, and npm for building we have npm run build. Apart from start, we will always run these things. Okay, so it is a small introduction keeping in create react app mind. Okay, so these were the few features that you have to look after. These are the few processes that you have to look after. Usually when you are in your industry, then you have to create your UI, write these kind of tests, and they will go into your CI/CD pipeline. And when before deployment, all the tests will be run. The building will be done on its own, and then it will be deployed, and that is part of DevOps. Okay, so after this thing, it will be given to either manual testing team and to DevOps team. Okay, what we have next lecture. Okay, when we have next lecture, I think it's on 25th year, and also you what you should be doing is